Providing equal opportunities for candidates is the starting point of fair election. The election system based on fair competition literally guarantees fair competition, through which equal opportunities for election campaigns are provided and anyone can be elected as a representative of the people. This secures legitimacy of the elected person and prevents corruption. Social and economic costs and such side effects as overheated competition, corruption, etc., can be prevented by partly restricting costly political advertisements, setting reasonable limits for campaign spending, and restricting excessive political fundraising and donations. In principle, the cost required to elect a representative of the people shall be borne by the state to guarantee the right of the people to hold a public office. The Constitution of the Republic of Korea accordingly stipulates that expenditures for elections shall not be imposed on a political party or candidate, except as otherwise permitted by the law. The state therefore places election campaigns of candidates under the management of the Election Commission, while reimbursing the expenses incurred for election campaigns to the political parties or candidates that meet certain requirements, such as for the share of the vote, etc. In the case the election of a candidate is invalidated due to his or her violation of the election law, he or she shall return the reimbursed amount.
선거 공영제는 한마디로 말씀을 드리면 후보자가 선거 운동에 사용하는 비용을 국가에서 부담해 주는 겁니다. 따라서 능력만 있다면 자금이 부족한 사람들도 자유롭게 출마를 할 수 있도록 보장해 주는 것입니다. 아울러서 선거가 끝난 후에 후보자가 자기가 쓴 돈을 메꾸려고 부정부패에 빠질 가능성을 차단해 주는 안전장치이기도 합니다.
The documents issued by a government agency or local government that candidates submit upon his or her registration as a candidate are posted on internet websites during the election period in order for residents of the relevant constituencies to verify candidates' qualifications. This is to ensure the exercise of the public's right to know and voters' right to vote. The information to be disclosed is on the property owned by a candidate and his or her family members, military service records of a candidate and his or her lineal descendants over the age of 18, tax payment and payment default history of a candidate and his or her family members for the last 5 years, criminal records and academic transcripts of a candidate, and candidate's history of registration as a candidate for public official elections. Voters may freely check these documents through internet websites during the election period. The Election Commission investigates electoral offenses in various ways to manage elections in a fair manner. To secure the effectiveness of investigations, the Election Commission is granted a special authority to access electoral offense scenes, interrogate, investigate, request the submission of relevant documents, collect evidences, demand to accompany or summon where necessary, and to take action at the scene. To efficiently respond to major offenses, TF teams are organized, each of which covers a wide area, to collect relevant evidences and investigate offenses, while the computerized DB system increases efficiency of work, such as the analysis of actions taken against electoral offenses and the management of the history thereof. The Election Commission may also report to the prosecution, request an investigation, issue a warning, call for the obedience of the electoral law, request cooperation, etc., after the investigation of electoral offenses, depending on the issues. With election campaigns via the internet becoming available at all times, the number of such illegal activities as defamation, distribution of false information, etc., has increased, taking advantage of the anonymity of the internet and a proliferating feature it has. The Election Commission organizes TF teams for cyber electoral offenses. The Cyber Automatic Search System and Cyber Evidence Analysis System are run for the quick search analysis of illegal postings on cyberspace and the prevention thereof. 15,000 internet websites are automatically screened and analyzed for postings that include keywords related to a specific political party or candidate, and any illegal posting is removed. A digital forensic investigation technique has been in use for the collection and analysis of digital evidences to deal with electoral offenses committed on SNS using mobiles, PCs, etc. With the increased number of people racing against time, the voter turnout gradually decreases. Early voting, the system designed to increase participation in voting. The early voting system has been introduced to provide more convenience for voting to those not able to vote on election day due to unavoidable circumstances. The merit of this system is that it connects the entire nation through the communications network and enables voters to vote at any early polling station established across the nation without prior application, using the integrated voters list and the ballot printer. A voter participating in early voting can be issued a ballot paper that belongs to the constituency of his or her residence once he or she presents his or her ID at an early polling station for ID check done based on the integrated voters list that incorporates all voters nationwide into one voters list via the communications network. A dual system is in use with a combination of the National Information and Communications Network as the main network and a wireless network as the auxiliary network to increase the reliability of the system. There is also a safeguard in place to prevent a voter from casting one vote at an early polling station and another at a general polling station on election day by reflecting in real time a record of the voter having participated in early voting. A legal system is in place that supports participation in election by vulnerable social groups. In particular, to actively guarantee political participation by women, each political party shall nominate female candidates up to more than 50% of the total number of candidates, allocating the odd numbers to them on the party list in the case of proportional representation elections for National Assembly members and local council members. In addition, each political party is advised to nominate female candidates up to more than 30% of the total number of the local districts across the nation in the case of elections for local district members of the National Assembly and local councils that take place at the end of the term. To secure the effectiveness of this system, national subsidies are allocated to political parties in proportion to the nomination by each political party, and also according to the number of the seats and the ratio of the votes gained by the political parties in the National Assembly elections. Every citizen has the right to vote. The state shall therefore provide support to facilitate voting by vulnerable social groups to the greatest extent possible. The Election Commission provides convenience for the disabled voters, the elderly, those partially immobile, etc., in various areas including access to candidate information, access to polling stations, and each stage of voting. Polling stations, if possible, should be established on the ground level for easy access and furnished with passages and temporary ramps for wheelchairs. Temporary polling booths are also needed to be installed at the entrance of the building, where a polling station is established to provide as much convenience for voting as possible, in the case the polling station is located on the second floor or above. Vehicles with the wheelchair lift are provided for easy access to polling stations by disabled voters, while voters residing in remote areas without easy access to public transportation are provided with vehicles traveling from or to polling stations. In addition, polling station attendants are assigned to the entrance of polling stations to assist disabled voters with voting. Special polling booths designed for electronic scooter and wheelchair users and braille voting devices for vision-impaired voters are also available inside the polling stations. Those not able to vote on his or her own may accompany a person to assist with voting. A two-dimensional barcode that converts text into voice once scanned is printed on all kinds of printed materials. And the the Election Commission ensures easy access to election information via its internet website by providing enlarged font size, voice support, etc. Hearing impaired voters can scan the QR code on the voting guide with a smartphone to access sign language interpreting services. In addition, voting guides published in English, Chinese, Vietnamese, etc. are provided to foreign voters who can also get a chance to try out voting by visiting two multicultural centers. To encourage public participation in election, candidate information should be made public and be available for public use. The information on policies and pledges of political parties or candidates should therefore be easily accessed by voters. The Election Commission has set up an election statistics system to provide online election-related information, including election-related basic data, candidate information, the current voting counting status, the elected, etc. The information on voting and counting is also provided to broadcasting media companies in real time via the communications network. A system is also set up on the website of Election Commission through which anyone visiting the website can look up policies and pledges of political parties or candidates. Do you know you can find your polling station and get directions to it via the internet? Information on the location of nearby early polling stations and a polling station a voter should visit on Election Day and directions to polling stations is available through the Election Commission's website and the Election Info mobile app. This is to facilitate voting participation. In particular, voters can check the real-time standby status for voting, which is expected to reduce the wait at early polling stations. Because the voting and counting process is important in ensuring public trust in elections, every procedure should be open to the public. Election will be more transparent when public participation is involved and the entire process is open to public. Around 25% of the counting staff for the June 4th local elections were publicly recruited to involve the public in the counting process. Publicly recruited citizens will participate in the counting process to achieve more transparent and fairer counting procedures, along with the counting staff recruited among public officials, teaching staff, and staff of public organizations. The Election Commission is improving the transparency in voting and counting processes by providing live broadcast of the entire electoral processes in local polling stations and counting centers across the nation through the internet broadcasting system established on its website. Additionally, various election information is provided through 24-hour internet broadcast. With the introduction of political fund disclosure system, candidates voluntarily provide real-time information on revenues and expenditures for campaigns. Once candidates upload details of their revenue and expenditure on the system, anyone can access their detailed financial reports anytime, anywhere through the internet. In addition to this, in accordance with the Political Funds Act, the reports submitted by candidates shall be made open to the public for 3 months, starting from 30 days after Election Day.
우리는 흔히 정치 자금을 정치 모유라고 비유하곤 합니다. 그런데 모유가 오염되면 어떤 건전한 선거 문화 또는 민주주의 건전한 발전을 기대하기 힘들 겁니다. 정치자금 공개 시스템은 그러한 모유가 오염되지 않도록 모든 국민들이 나서서 감시할 수 있는 그런 제도입니다.
Candidates need information on sources of campaign materials and reasonable prices thereof. The Election Commission is operating a website to provide price information on campaign materials. Through this website, manufacturing companies can register product information and candidates can make reasonable transactions by comparing products based on various options, which promotes transparency in campaign spending. World's #1 high-speed internet communications network penetration rate. World's fastest internet speed. World's highest smartphone penetration rate. World's highest PC penetration rate. State-of-the-art IT infrastructure combined with election. Use of ICT in election management is expanding for convenient and precise participation in elections beyond time and space. The ballot printer, composed of a laptop, a printer, a voter identification device, and an uninterruptible power supply unit, is a piece of electronic equipment that prints ballot papers for the relevant constituency on site. It is used in early voting, overseas voting, and various entrusted elections. Especially, a voter visiting any early polling station in the nation can be issued a ballot paper for the relevant constituency based on the integrated voters list connected through the online network. The merit of early voting is that it increases the voter turnout while reducing duties and costs related to ballot paper printing and management. What you see is the touchscreen voting system. Voters can cast their ballot by touching the name of a candidate of their choice from the candidate list automatically shown once the voting card is inserted into the voting machine. Various voting and counting methods, such as open vote with plural entry, preferential voting, etc., can be supported. Since its development in 2006, the accuracy and stability of the system have been proven through 4,000 operations in various entrusted and private elections, including intra-party competitions and elections for heads of cooperatives. A survey targeting its users shows that over 90% of the respondents were satisfied with the convenience of the system. The Internet Mobile Voting System is an online voting system that allows voters to vote through PCs, smartphones, or feature phones from anywhere by connecting to wired or wireless communications networks. After the development of test system in 2011, online voting has been used in around 40 private elections, including Apartment or Reporters Association representative elections and School Operation Committee member elections since 2013. The system supports various types of voting and counting, such as preferential, cumulative, and approval voting, and ensures reliability through strict personal identification measures, such as the use of authorized certificates. Shipboard voting was introduced in order to protect the rights of sailors at sea who cannot vote on election day. Ballot papers are sent through the facsimiles and satellites to enable sailors at sea on election day to cast a vote. Through facsimile, the ballots transmitted through the satellites are enveloped inside the machine and printed. Voting and counting procedures should be more transparent, swifter, and more accurate. Ballot boxes containing valuable votes from citizens must be secure. People's will collected in ballot boxes must be processed accurately without error. Information technology was introduced to ensure these factors. The system has been developed to allow smartphone verification of the authenticity of the ballot boxes delivered from polling stations to counting centers by attaching an NFC chip with an identification number inside the ballot boxes, and increases reliability of the voting counting process. After the lid is closed, locks are placed at the front and back of a ballot box, and sealing stickers are attached to it. The sealing sticker, once attached to a ballot box, gets damaged if removed afterwards, and therefore ensures the security of the ballot box. The optical scan counter is an OMR apply counting machine that sorts and counts ballots by party or candidate. It has been used in various elections, such as public official elections and intra-party elections since its introduction in 2002. The optical scan counter is an all-in-one system that has a control device, a sorting device, a printer, and a card reader, and can accurately and rapidly sort and count 420 ballots per minute. The results can be printed through the printer inside the optical scan counter. The use of the optical scan counter allows the smooth conduction of election, especially when multiple elections are held at once, as in the case of local elections, and reduces social costs incurred for overnight vote counting. What is the key to the ICT-based election management in Korea? A 4-story computing center, furnished with computing devices, networks, and cutting-edge security system, is in full-time operation 365 days, 24 hours as a core infrastructure. The Information Center supports computerization of election administration through various information systems. Provided systems are, firstly, an election management system that increases efficiency in election management administration and provides various election information to political parties and candidates. Secondly, the overseas voting system using computerized procedures in overseas absentee, overseas voter registration, voters list preparation, and voting for the efficient management of overseas voting. Thirdly, the integrated voters list system that allows voting from anywhere in Korea by integrating all voters nationwide into one voters list. Fourthly, the vote tally system that supports secure, real-time transmission of accurate vote counting results from the counting centers through the exclusive communications network. Fifthly, the election statistics system that varies election statistics such as turnouts in elections and the percentage of the votes obtained by each candidate. Security is most crucial in ensuring the stable operation of these systems. The Information Center prepares various security measures to operate IT election system in a stable manner. The center established a separated exclusive communications network for election management to prevent hacking and information leaks. Also, through the integrated monitoring system, the center strives to block any potential cyber attacks. Most importantly, the integrated monitoring, professional analysis, and hacking response teams have been established to block threats of cyber attacks round the clock. The NEC is aiming for voter-focused, ubiquitous election management based on the converged information and communication technology.